everyone, welcome to my first vampathon vlog. It is Saturday the 26th of October, which means that vampathon is starting today. This might actually be going up on Halloween, so if it is, happy Halloween. I could not be more excited to start a week of spooky, cozy reading. I've got the best TBR if I do say so myself. I am going to quickly go through what the options are because I'm still undecided as to what book to pick first, so we're going to decide right now. But if you do want to watch a proper in-depth video where I talk about my whole TBR and each book and why I chose it, which prompts there for, go ahead and click the link above. I will also put it in my description. But yeah, I had a lot of fun picking out this TBR, so yeah, let's quickly go through it and then get into the reading. We've got Shadow Kiss by Rochelle Mead. This is the third book in the Vampire Academy series. Really fun teen series. I tend to read one of these every single vampathon, so it's a no-brainer that it's on my TBR. Then we have The Devil Makes Free by Tori Bovalino. This is about a couple of students who unleash a demon from a book under their school library. The Legend of Sleepy Hollow by Washington Irving. I will only be reading the titular story from this book. I won't be reading the whole collection of short stories because a lot of them are quite Christmassy actually. The next one is Hollow, which also took inspiration from the last book I just spoke about. This is basically about a group of teenagers who live in Sleepy Hollow, which is a town in upstate New York, and the Headless Horseman comes back to haunt the town, so they actually try and figure out the mystery of it all. Twilight by Stephanie Meyer is on my list as well. I feel like I don't really need to explain this one. I just wanted to reread it because one of the prompts in this readathon is vampire book to movie, and I feel like this is the ultimate book to pick for that prompt. And yeah, I've just been feeling the urge to pick it up again recently. Then we've got another vampire story, Lucy Undying by Kirsten White. This is a new release. I got a proof of it a couple of months ago and I've been saving it for vampathon. It's basically the story of Lucy Westenra, who was one of Dracula's victims in Whitby and was a huge part of the story, but then her storyline got cut short, so this is kind of a reimagining of what would have happened to Lucy if she had stayed a vampire. Graveyard Shift by ML Rio. I feel like this is my most anticipated book on this list. ML Rio is the author of If We Were Villains, if that name sounds familiar to you, but this is just a short novella about a group of people that do the night shift and they hang out in this graveyard and solve a mystery. Then the last book on this list is another collection of short stories, and that is The Gathering Dark, edited by Tori Bovalino. This has been a book that I've owned for a couple of years now and I'm finally ready to read it. I'm so excited. I'm going to read at least one or two of these stories every single day throughout the week. Okay, so that was probably the quickest I've ever explained a TBR this size. We're going to choose from these which one I want to read today. Like I said, I think I will be reading at least one of these stories today, so I will pop that down there. Graveyard Shift I would love to read tonight. I'm going to read it during the dark. I think that's one of the prompts that I'm reading it for. No, it isn't. That is The Legend of Sleepy Hollow, which I think I'll save for later in the week. This one I just want to read in the dark. It's not for that prompt. So yeah, I will hopefully be picking this up this evening because I want to read it during the hours of night, and I feel like the first night getting this read will just start the readathon off so well. So yeah, really it is kind of a toss-up between my longer books because I want to start one of the longest ones today. So these ones are really the choices that I'm looking at. The longest one is Lucy Undying. I'm a little bit terrified of it. Which one of these am I going to enjoy most today? Because that is ultimately how we want to be picking these. I kind of just want to mood read for most of the week and I've got a big enough TBR to be able to do that. Okay, I actually might ask my vampathon group chat. So I actually haven't mentioned I've got some amazing co-hosts. So obviously Jodie from Vanilla Moon, she created this readathon and has hosted it every single year. I think this might be the 5th year she's done it, which is really exciting. Like, how crazy it is that the time has flown by that quickly. But yeah, our other co-hosts, Kay, Mika and Jan, we all have this group chat, so hopefully we're going to be chatting away on there throughout the week. I also hope that we can do some reading sprints because I just don't feel like it feels like a vampathon or a readathon full stop without some reading sprints. I'm reading with you guys, so yeah, hopefully we can do that. Fingers crossed it works out. I'm gonna send a picture of these to that group chat and just see what they all think. Okay, I really feel like it's between these two. So we've got Twilight, which would be a reread for me. I pretty much know it word for word, so it'd be really fun to go back into this and like ease into the readathon, whereas if I started with this one it would be something very new and exciting. Honestly, they couldn't be more different considering they're both vampire books. Why can't I choose? Okay, I've made up my mind. I think I'm gonna start with Lucy Undying and just see how it goes because I don't know what it's going to be like. I could absolutely love it and I could end up reading it quite quickly. I am just a tiny bit hesitant because the text is really tiny and it seems to jump around a lot from chapter to chapter, but I'm going to give it a go. I really want to read it at some point this week, so why not start with it. I'm going to take this downstairs with me as well as these two. This is pretty much my TBR for today, so let's get into it and I will update you when I'm a little bit into Lucy Undying. Wish me luck. It's update time. It is now mid-afternoon. I've got to page 71 of Lucy Undying. I've made a decent start. Also, Jodie sent me these tabs and I'm loving them because I've used them for, this is my second book now. I used them for the book that I started before Vampathon, which featured in my last vlog. It's definitely a book that I'm so excited to get back into after this week. I used the tabs on that one and now I'm using them on this one and I love them. I'm using just the red ones. I've never had red tabs before and it's making my heart so happy because the red tabs match perfectly with the cover of the book. Like, it's the little thing. Anyway, so I'm on chapter 21. So you can tell page 71, chapter 21, the chapters are so short and I'm loving it because it's just making this so readable. I was a little bit worried before going into this that I was going to find it hard to like pick up and like really get into it straight away, but a couple of chapters in I was already like flying. So this is not what I expected at all. I thought we were going to be seeing it mostly from Lucy's point of view, but there's this other character called Iris who is in modern day London. She's from America but she's moved to London, or like escaped and like ran away to London. We know that her mother is dead and that her father is in like a home and he's actually seeing his wife through the window. I feel like we all know where this is heading though, like it's a vampire book. Iris is in London and it's actually kind of irritating because a lot of her point of view is basically her saying like things are different here. They call things different names, like lawyers are solicitors here and you have to look right before crossing the road instead of left. It's a little bit frustrating to read just from that point of view because it's just classic like someone from the UK going to the US or vice versa and just commenting on all of like the little differences that like aren't really a big deal. And honestly, I went straight to Goodreads and the first review I saw was somebody saying that Iris is just like Emily in Paris, where like she's going to a different country and just like being so obnoxiously American about it. No offense to you Americans watching, you know exactly what I'm talking about. But yeah, hopefully like Emily in Paris will actually start liking Iris soon because her storyline is actually really interesting. So she's basically gone to the family solicitor and she's discovered that her mother has left her property and she's gone and found one of those kind of manor houses in London and she's staying the night, and that's pretty much where I've gotten up to. But we're also seeing Lucy Westenra in Boston speaking to a therapist a month prior, and we're also seeing Lucy's journals from back in the 1890s when she was with Mina and she was getting courted by all those men and meeting Dracula. So yeah, we really are jumping around in like time and setting, but it's not actually as confusing as I imagined it would be. Like I said, it is very readable, and because they are such short chapters, like it just feels like it's moving really quickly. I'm definitely enjoying this. I felt like I did have kind of high expectations just because I was so excited by the premise of it and also the cover, I can't lie. But at the same time, I've read from Kirsten White before and like not thought much of her writing, so I didn't have high expectations in regard to the actual writing of the book. And I think that's a good thing because I'm actually enjoying this more than I thought in that way. So yeah, I think I'm going to pause this for now though and pick up The Gathering Dark. I want to read, like I said earlier, one story from The Gathering Dark. It would be nice to have a break from Lucy Undying as well and just like read something a little bit different. So yeah, I'm gonna pick this up now. So the first story in The Gathering Dark is called Stay and it's by Erica Waters. She's the author of Ghostwood Song and The River Has Teeth. I haven't heard of either of those books. So what might be actually really fun about this collection is it might introduce me to some new authors that I like the writing style of. So yeah, I don't know what this story is about. There isn't like a synopsis for any single one of these stories. I just know that it's a collection of folkloric tales and it's supposed to be like horror. This particular one is like 23 pages. I'm just gonna dive straight into this and let you guys know what I think after I finished. finished the first story, Stay. That was way better than I expected. I didn't know what that was going to be about, and it was actually so good. My only note is that I almost wish it had been just like tad longer, just to develop one of the aspects of it just a tiny bit more, but I actually thought that was such a great short story. It starts with Melissa's grandmother telling her that she has worms under her skin, and Melissa kind of like dismisses this and just tells her like she's imagining it, but then she actually does see something move under her grandmother's skin. I don't really want to say much more than that, just because it's a short story I can't really explain more, but I did really like how it explored family that are no longer with us kind of like remaining and like sticking with us, like within us. I definitely related to some aspects of this. The main character could kind of sense ghosts and like sense the dead and like energy. Yeah, that's like a whole side to my life that like I don't really talk about. I never really talk about like spiritual stuff or anything on here, but I definitely related to certain things in this short story. There's a part where she feels a very like oppressive energy, and I know exactly how that feels. So yeah, that was really creepy. It very much creeped me out and did its job. A really brilliant opening to this collection. I'm now just really excited to keep reading the stories in this. I would actually look up Erica Waters' books now. So yeah, I do actually feel like this is going to introduce me to so many more authors. Anyway, I'm going to put this down, and I might take just like a little break before diving back into Lucy Undying. But my aim was to get about halfway into this book, and I don't know how possible that's going to be today. I'm basically just going to read as much as possible of this before it gets dark. I think it should be getting dark in roughly like an hour or two. I know the clocks are going back. The clocks are changing tomorrow. I don't know which way they're going, but I know it's gonna start getting darker early, and it already has been. So yeah, I'm probably gonna just read this for like another hour or so after taking a short break, and then I'll let you know when I decide to pick up Graveyard Shift. I am so excited for this. I feel like the themes in that first book are also going to appear in this because there was a graveyard in that one. Okay, that's my update for now. Hello everybody, I have made some progress with Lucy Undying. So I'm now on page 155, which is chapter 39. So I've made it a third of the way through. I think over a third at this point. You can kind of see it's looking good. I've been tabbing my favourite quotes as I go. Not loads and loads, but there have been some moments in here that I've really enjoyed. Yeah, I feel like there's nothing more to report. Like, I am just really enjoying this. I've actually got the audiobook on as I'm reading it, and I'm kind of like dipping in and out of reading it physically and just listening to the audiobook. And like you saw, I did some journaling, I did my nails. So yeah, I've been enjoying having the audiobook very much. The reason I got the audiobook in the first place was because really bad timing, but my eyes have started straining so much in the last week. When I've been reading, like whether I've been reading at home, on the tube, using my laptop at work, my eyes have been straining, and now even like using my phone, my eyes just hurt so bad. And I've never had an eye test before. I have never really had any problems with my eyesight or anything, but now I'm thinking it might be time to get an eye test. And obviously this whole week is supposed to be me reading, so yeah, I thought I'd be kind to myself and get an audiobook for the longest book on my TBR, just so that I have the option to give my eyes a rest. I am really enjoying this, but it is 8 o'clock now, and I did say I wanted to start reading Graveyard Shift today, so I think I'm going to pause this and pick this one back up tomorrow. I feel like it would be nicer to read it not just all in one day and spread it out a little bit over maybe tomorrow and the next day. But yeah, I'm really happy with the progress I've made on this one and I am enjoying it so much. It's actually reminding me a little bit of The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue and Adaria Blood, just a lot in the way that we follow Lucy's story after she turns into a vampire and like her life through the ages up to present day. She even goes to 1920s Paris and it's just giving me major Addie LaRue vibes and Adaria Blood, like Addie's journey to the present day with also someone else's point of view in that book. Like it's so similar. And also in Adaria Blood, Constanza, like her journey, like discovering being a vampire and like adjusting to life as a vampire, Addie adjusting to life with her curse. It's just really similar to a couple of books that I really love, so I can kind of understand why I'm enjoying that aspect of this. All round, this is really enjoyable. There aren't any sections that I'm really getting bored by. I would say it is helping me that I have read Dracula. I think it's actually probably best to know the story going into this one because there's so much in this about the characters in that book that I feel like I would have been so much more lost if I hadn't read it. Just to do with the whole Lucy being courted, you wouldn't necessarily know that if you were familiar with the Dracula story but hadn't actually read the book. It just gets into it but doesn't like completely explain everything, which I'm really glad it doesn't because that would be so boring for me if it did. Basically my point is, just a little warning, if you're planning on reading this book but you haven't read Dracula by Bram Stoker, it could get a tiny bit confusing. I wouldn't let that put you off because it is enjoyable, but I don't know how confused I would be if I hadn't read it basically. So yeah, I think it's like a fun thing to read after reading the actual source material. Mind you, I read Adaria of Blood before I read Dracula, so I don't know, each their own. With that said, I am going to take another little break because my eyes need it. I definitely want to shower this evening, although I might just wait a little bit until I get a little bit more tired. It would be so nice to just like take my makeup off. My colleague told me that the best thing to do with strained eyes is to like put hot flannel over your eyes. I'll definitely be taking her advice and doing that later. Maybe a face mask as well. I might make myself a hot chocolate as well and just get so cozy before picking up graveyard shift. The next day and it is past 1 o'clock now in the afternoon. I did get up quite early. We got an hour extra sleep last night because the clocks went back. I don't know what it means, went back, went forward. I actually don't know which way, but I know that we gained an hour, so I got nice sleep but still managed to wake up quite early. And this morning I actually started editing my Edinburgh vlog, which hopefully I can put out in the next couple of days. I wanted to put it up today, but it is like quite a lot of footage, so I had to stop editing and just get to reading. So yeah, that vlog might be out a little bit later than I wanted to. I'm just gonna edit a little bit every day and then get back to doing these vampathon vlogs and hopefully put this up on Halloween. I don't know, you guys will know if I actually manage to do any of that, but yeah, hopefully, fingers crossed, that is the plan. Here it is. I got halfway through before I decided to go to sleep, so I read up to page 46, which is Tamar's chapter, 1:40 AM, before I decided to go to sleep. So I think that was around 1 AM actually, but I love this book. I honestly saw a couple of reviews that made me a little bit worried and like doubt myself over how much I was going to enjoy this, but this is everything I wanted it to be and more. We've basically got a cast of characters who would never usually hang out if it wasn't for the fact that all of them happen to be on the night shift in this particular town. And I don't know how all these people met, but they go for like cigarette breaks at the cemetery there, surrounded by the town and all of these buildings. And yeah, they're all kind of friends, but not really, because they just basically have their breaks there with them. I don't think they hang out with each other any other time apart from during their night shifts. So I really enjoy the dynamic of a group of people kind of together out of like, I guess you could say forced proximity rather than like any actual desire for friendship, but they end up having this really interesting dynamic because of that. And honestly, if anybody can recommend me other books where that is the case, I would love to read them, because I think that's what I'm enjoying about this most. Like, other than the kind of atmosphere and the setting and just the mystery, like, which is actually not what I expected at all. Yeah, that's what I like the most. This kind of, it's not like a found family, but they do start trying to solve this mystery together, and I'm just eating it up. So yeah, I'm halfway through this and we are pretty much just getting into the meat of the mystery now. So there is this grave, freshly dug hole in the ground when they go on their break one night, and they're all kind of wondering why it's there, because, and I didn't realize this at the time that I was reading the synopsis, I thought it was like really weird that they'd even care that there was like a freshly dug grave because it's a graveyard, but apparently it's a graveyard that hasn't actually been used for like 100 years or so. So it is actually out of the ordinary that there would be a fresh dug grave. So that makes a lot more sense now, and I do understand why they're kind of like intrigued by it or like a bit scared by it. And then they actually see the gravedigger himself. I'm not going to say any more than that, but it is just so fun. Anyway, I couldn't be enjoying this more. So yeah, I did stop reading it because I was getting fidgety leg last night. If I go to sleep too late, I get a fidgety leg. If any of you guys know what that is, it's kind of like a form of insomnia, which is hilarious because this book is all about insomnia. This is like an ode to insomnia. That's kind of a coincidence that I got fidgety leg last night. Anyway, it's basically where you get this like crawling, just like horrible sensation, usually in your limbs, and it just makes you want to like move around. That's why people kind of name it fidgety leg. It's officially called restless leg syndrome. It can usually get triggered by not sleeping enough, caffeine, alcohol. As soon as I felt that coming on, I decided to go to sleep straight away, because that's the only way that I make it go away, if I do exactly what it says and go to sleep. Otherwise it comes on with a vengeance. So yeah, that is why I didn't end up finishing this one last night like I said I wanted to, but I'm quite happy because it means that I can enjoy it again tonight. This morning I worked out how many pages I read last night and put it in this new spread that I created yesterday, and I'm just keeping track of the pages read because I find it really satisfying. But yeah, yesterday I read 23 pages of The Gathering Dark, so that one short story, 154 pages of Lucy Undying, and 45 pages of Graveyard Shift. So that was a total of 222 pages, very satisfying number. I think I calculated it, and if I read 340 pages a day, it means that I'll finish my entire TBR in the 6 days. So yeah, I don't think the 340 pages is possible for me every single day, especially because tomorrow I'm planning to go to a pumpkin patch with my friend. We're going to Tulleys, which is kind of in between here and Brighton. It's super quick for me on the train, it's like half an hour or less. So yeah, me and my best friend are going there tomorrow, and I'm not planning on reading as much tomorrow. So yeah, I know that I'm not going to finish every single book on my TBR, but I am very proud of myself that I read 222 pages yesterday. I just feel like I'm making really good progress so far. Anyway, so other than editing today, I have been listening to the audiobook and kind of reading intermittently Lucy Undying. So now I'm like halfway through the book. I'm on chapter 61, which is page 245. I feel like 100 pages this morning, around that. So yeah, already got a really good start today. We're halfway and I'm like, what the hell is the rest of the book gonna be? Because I feel like we're getting close to like a lot of the solutions. I feel like we're getting things like wrapped up a little bit, so I'm so confused how we've still got like 200 pages to go. What the hell's gonna be in these pages? We've got a mystery with Iris's family, and I feel like we're kind of starting to understand kind of the scope of what's going on there and how Iris is connected to Lucy. I'm happy to report this is going well, and I'm really happy that I picked it for my first full-length read. Okay, so the plan for today, I desperately need to do a food shop. It is Sunday, which is not the best because I feel like it could be kind of busy. But anyway, I'm gonna make a nice trip out of it and walk through my local park and just enjoy this sunny autumn day. I also am waiting for some earphones to arrive. I don't like using wireless headphones when I'm out and about. I've always had this like paranoia that my headphones are gonna fail and then everyone's gonna hear what I'm listening to. So I always like to use like proper plug-in earphones with the wires. The ones that I have just broken, so obviously they're not working anymore, and I do want to make the most of having an audiobook. They're supposed to be arriving early this afternoon, like literally any minute, so hopefully I can wait for those to arrive and then go on my shopping trip. And then I need to make sure I'm back here by 4 p.m. because my whole family is doing like a little catch-up FaceTime. My parents got back from New England just a few days ago, so yeah, we're gonna catch up, chat about their trip. My whole family is everywhere right now. I'm in London, my brother's in Barcelona, my sister's in Switzerland, and my parents are by the coast in England. We're all everywhere, so we're doing a little FaceTime. Very wholesome. I do want to read at least 1 or 2 stories from The Gathering Dark today. We've got Chloe Gong's story next, The Tallest Poppy, and then what's the one after that? Loved by All Save One by Tori Bovolino, who edited the collection. So I think I'll read those 2 today. Okay, hello everybody. I literally got 1 page into this story and my earphones arrived. These little things are about to change my life. There's actually nothing better than fresh earphones. Oh my god, I've literally been using earphones that only work in one ear for months and then they stop working entirely, so this is just a bit of a luxury at this point. Okay, I'm gonna go to the shop and I'll take you guys with me. I think I might also pop to the garden centre as well, because it's on the way and they always have the cutest Halloween like festive stuff and Christmas stuff, so I'll be going there for Christmas as well. But yeah, let's go check it out. I don't have super high hopes or anything, but you never know, I might find something really cute. Hello guys, it is later in the evening. I've just had my dinner. Have I not talked to you since before I went out? Oh my goodness. I'm just at my desk now. I went out and I did go to the garden centre. I had a little bit of time before coming back and doing a FaceTime with my family. There wasn't that many like autumnal decorations. There was definitely nothing like too Halloween-y, but there was tons of Christmas stuff, so I definitely am gonna go back in November or December. Anyway, so I managed to read those 2 short stories from The Gathering Dark. So the one by Tori Bovolino, the one by Chloe Gong. Chloe Gong's was the 2nd story in the collection, and I really love the setting of it. It was set in a house that was kind of like haunted, like kind of cursed, actually more cursed, by the sea in New Zealand somewhere. But there was not much else to really like about it. I feel like it was just too rushed. I even predicted the ending way before it happened. So yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of that story. I really like how it started, but I just wish it had just developed a little bit more. And then the 3rd story by Tori Bovolino, Loved by All Save One. I don't really understand what that title was in reference to, and I've read the story. Anyway, that one was really creepy. It was definitely more like classic kind of slasher slash paranormal horror, and I really did like the idea that we're all scared of kind of a haunted house because of its ghost. But what we should really be scared about is actual people, and I love stories that do that. I feel like it's very clever the way that Tori Bovolino wrote this one. Having said that, I feel like I still like the 1st story in the collection more. So yeah, I hope that there are more stories in this that I really love. But right now, if I had to give it like an average rating, it would be probably like 3.5 stars. I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying just reading short stories, to be honest, because I don't really read short stories that often, and it's definitely making me want to read more short story collections. And it's definitely also inspiring me, because I've never even thought to write a short story before because I was kind of intimidated by the idea of it. But now reading these, like, I do actually feel like I could write a short story, even if it ended up being really terrible. Like, I do feel like it doesn't have to be like super ambiguous. It can actually just be like a lot of fun. And then I did continue reading or listening to Lucy Undying while I was cooking. So now I think I'm on chapter 71. Two of the biggest reveals just happened. We found out more about the actual therapist, and then we also kind of had the major plot twist. I mean, we all expect it to happen, and I actually predicted exactly how Iris was going to find out about this particular plot line. I feel very clever that I predicted that. I don't know if I'm going to continue reading this tonight because it's already 8:30 and I'm about to jump on Jodie's Patreon sprints, and because it's so late I feel like maybe I should switch over to Graveyard Shift. I would really like to finish this tonight so I can get at least one book finished on the second day of vampathon. Good morning everybody. Me and my best friend are off to the pumpkin patch right now. So I was going to update you about Graveyard Shift because I did finish it last night, but that's gonna have to wait until after I get home, hopefully with a pumpkin. Yeah, I'm so excited to go. I'm just about to get in an Uber to the train station, so I'm gonna take you guys with me, and yeah, we'll do some more reading updates once I'm home.
Why is it shaped like that? No, like I need it.
That's true. We need to see like the potential once it's washed. Yeah, because they are so muddy.
I think it's a really good size.
And it's not heavy. I think this could be it.
I think that's it. It could have like a longer stalk bit, but none of them really have that. Beggars can't be choosers. Here lies Ardeli's departed embalm and her sister decomposing.
Oh my god, it's literally burnt. It's so burnt.
It's so good.
Oh my god. We're on the Ferris wheel and it is raining.
Just to add to the chaos of our day.
Why? Why does that sound like we had the worst day ever?
We're just like professional complainers.
We are. It is disgusting though, seriously. And the roof is like so far detached that it's not even covering us.
It's not too bad, it could be worse.
Beautiful view of the car park as well. We're going back that way. Excuse me, sir, how long are we on?
Imagine he told us to get off.
Why is it so loud?
Oh my god, it looks so grim on camera. Oh no, that's cute. Oh my god, Katie, look how much higher we're going. No, I'm actually
This
scared.
is like halfway.
No! Sorry.
She's scared at halfway.
Oh my god, if you look up it makes it so much worse.
That's true.
No,
I'm not looking.
No, on camera it's gonna look weird.
Look, they look like ants already.
We are somewhat protected from the weather.
That's true, that I'm feeling a bit more calm now.
Like,
but
it
it
could have
was
been
really,
worse.
really dripping on us before. Oh, look at us. If this has music over it, it'll be a really cute montage. Hello, my dears. It is high time for an update. It is now Monday evening, so we're on day 3 of vampathon, and I haven't read much today because we went to the pumpkin patch. As you guys saw, I got a pumpkin. It's literally just drying over there because I had to wash all the dirt off of it. I think in the morning I will be starting a new vlog, so you've got me for the rest of tonight. But yeah, I just thought I'd update you guys on my reading progress. I didn't read much today. I started a new story in the Gathering Dark on the train to the pumpkin patch, but I want to say I read like 5 pages, maybe not even that. Maybe I can read that one tonight. But my main update, of course, is that I finished Graveyard Shift last night. I finished this on Jodie's Patreon sprints and gave it 5 stars. Can we believe it? I have only given like 3 or 4 books this year 5 stars, so kind of a big deal and high praise from me. I loved where Emma Rio took the mystery, the fact that it was all to do with insomnia. Of course, it all came back to insomnia, and I just thought it was super clever, and I was following it. Like, it was like a win-win. Like, usually when things are super clever it kind of goes over my head, but I thought it was really a fantastic conclusion to the mystery. I've heard some people complain that it's kind of open-ended, but I don't really think it is. I do think that the only way in which it's open-ended like is probably a good thing, because I don't want to know what happens to that character. You can kind of guess what happens to this particular character, but I wouldn't want to like have seen it. It's just like a fun little hint at it. I think it's quite haunting and just interesting. Like, I just thought it was a great end to a novella. I also wasn't mad that it was a novella, and I didn't feel like it had to go on any longer, especially having read the author's note. This was longer than I thought it was because the actual novella was 108 pages, but then there is a whole essay by Emma Rio which takes you to 123 pages, and it's really worth reading because it's kind of about her author journey with If We Were Villains. Apparently it kind of flopped at the beginning and the readership wasn't really there for it until COVID hit and the lockdowns, and that kind of blew that book up on TikTok, and that is why Emma Rio wasn't really like a full-time author. She went back to academia, which was really interesting, and she kind of explains how interlinked academia and insomnia are, which makes total sense to me. I just really love this. I really recommend it, and I just recommend you not to have any expectations going into it, to be honest. I definitely recommend this for people that can relate to having insomnia of some form, because it is really, really explored thoroughly in such a small amount of pages. Love this so much. What a great way to kick off vampathon. So for me, that takes off the prompts of thriller or mystery book and dark academia setting. So I've coloured in these 2 gravestones. We're already halfway to a bingo basically, which is really exciting. So yeah, I ended up in the end reading even more pages yesterday than I did the day before, with 258 pages. I feel like I'm on a roll, apart from today. Today is the one day that I've kind of let myself down, but at the same time today's the only day where I've had major plans, so it kind of makes sense, and it doesn't really matter that today was a little bit less productive. But now we have the whole night to read. I really would love to finish Lucy Undying before the end of this vlog. Okay, let's finish this vlog where it started, on the floor right here in my bedroom. I just uploaded all of the footage from this vlog onto my laptop and it's over 2.5 hours worth of footage, so I definitely need to wrap this one up and start a new one for the second half of Vampathon. So yeah, I thought I would let you guys know that I did finish Lucy Undying this morning. I'm not gonna lie, I feel like the last 100 pages was like a tiny bit of a letdown for me. I think it just got like a little bit tedious. I think it was a bit too drawn out, and then by the time we got to like all the action and excitement and plot twists, I was not as invested as I had been at the beginning of this book. So I'm a little bit disappointed by my reading experience of this one, but I'm still gonna give it 4 stars because I felt like it could have been a 5-star if it was just a little bit shorter, maybe if it wrapped up in just a slightly different way. I just felt like the romance in this was so strong at the beginning and I was really enjoying that part of this book, but then the thing that I was enjoying most about the book became one of the things that was kind of harder to read. Anyway, I would still recommend it. I just think it was really unique and just interesting the way that Kirsten White took the story of Dracula and Lucy specifically and gave her a whole new lease on life and a new story. Like, it was actually really fantastic from that point of view, and it took it to like super unexpected places as well. I did not think we would end up in Utah in this book, but yeah, it was a lot of fun. So far in this readathon we have had a 4-star read and a 5-star read for the Graveyard Book. It turns out I read 7 pages of the Hannah Witton story yesterday on the train, so as soon as I wrap up this vlog, this is probably what I'm going to be reading next. But yeah, with my second book of the readathon down, we have yet to get a bingo, but I have completed the following prompts: bats or blood on the cover and vampire main character. We've got 4 coloured in tombstones right there. So yeah, I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and I hope you have a spectacular Halloween and rest of Vampathon, and I will see you in my next one. Bye!